What's going on, everybody? This is David Mitchell here, Voice of Autism, episode 81. Sorry about doing the live stream a little bit later than usual. It's like we did normal time, but been a crazy couple of days. For one, found out earlier this morning my uncle passed away, and we'll probably be going to a funeral later on this week. So there might not be that many video on mail fanning, or technically there probably won't be that many because they're still working on the track. What they'll probably be done a little bit later on. But it's going to be raining up until Friday. Because it's been a rainy week so far. And you guys seen from that rail fanning video I posted up on Friday, I was able to catch one train and a railroad working machinery. So that was kind of hard, literally. And I'm just saying it kind of hard in a way. So it might be a little bit hard catching some trains that week. Same one that week because we're probably going to get more rain too, because it will be raining on Saturday too again, or next Saturday. So yeah. And also, yes, there's a fertilizer room with new haircut. So yeah. And me and my fiance Val are doing great. Our YouTube channel down the link down below if you want to go to it. But there's something sweet that I probably won't be showing during the live stream that I found amazing. Before I need to check. What? Yeah. That's funny. One of my friends have dirty humor. But so I've been trying to use to get over family member time. Oh, and a couple of days ago, that did happen on June 6th. This is why they tell you don't drink and one of the reasons why they tell you don't drink and drive. And sometimes drinking and driving can cause a bigger accident than a Norfolk Southern train on this cargo line in Illinois hit a parked car on train track from a drunk female driver who left her car on tracks. The train hit it so hard. This is what happened. It was caused by a drunk driver who was driving under the influence who parked their car on the train track. The train hit it so hard, a car was under the train, causing it to jump the track, which caused it to derail, which caused all of this to happen. 15 cars. And some of them nearly got the house right here. Oh, there it is. Right there. Nearly got that house. Like, I'm wondering if they caught the driver. If they did, what reason why? Because it caught a switch. And another reason why I'm bringing that up, to bring understanding for people. Don't play around with drunk driving. You know what? Don't drink and drive at all. Not good. And I'm just bringing that up because I think it right. Now let me go on to the autism stuff. But yeah, I got a couple of stuff to talk about today. Part one right here, one that I've been calling out and that I want to change for, and that I don't think are right. And that get me pissed off, but it's something that we need to talk about. I gotta remove the ad for again. You know. That's kind of gross. It's something that happening in England or Europe right now. And it's something that I think we need to start pushing for here in the US. Because we deal with it too, and if I don't know what it is, we'll see from what I'm getting ready to show you. Like another fellow YouTube friend of mine that we went to high school, it now turned into a live stream. But let me put it up here. Mimi just popped her back. Wow. That I did not even see coming if you guys heard that little pop in the background. Oh, what? Crap. You're going to have to wait on it, guys. I kind of messed up. My friend Tyrone with his YouTube Yowzer Gaming. I still can't get over that time that the file I was working on for it got corrupt. Ooh, I was ticked off. But being that it been raining all day and storming. Okay, Buddy was doing it that time. Engine got it. It's on. Yep. No. Dang it. Sorry about that, guys. I'm a little addicted, shorty. Good job not wanting to work. Sometimes that don't work right. But part of sometimes. But yeah, it's going to take me a few minutes if you got. But when I read it, I was infuriated. Like straight up infuriated. But it's starting to rain again. But when I get done to then I'm going to explain to you messed up it was. Or what the people have done. And I'm calling it out for what it is. And it's part of an article Not done yet. But it kind of got me aggravated. You gotta know where I'm going with this.
Autism is not a mental. That's 7 locked doors someone needs to ask to be open. Inside mental health, hundreds. Autism is not a mental health disorder, yet hundreds of autistic people remain trapped inside mental health hospitals across the UK.
They do that in the UK, and they also do it here in the US.
UK. They are often left in seclusion, denied their independence, and kept over-medicated, campaigners say. 2 families are now fighting to change the Mental Health Act to stop people with autism and learning difficulties from being, wrongly, sectioned. Inder Johar, 56, cares for his autistic son Anmol, 24, along with his wife Rani, 54, and a specialist support worker. He has previously inspected assessment and treatment units, ATUs, with the CQC and described them as being like prisons. Inder, from Wembley, said, "These places are not homely. They are nothing like what they are advertised as. One facility had 7 locked doors before a patient could get outside. That's 7 locked doors someone needs to ask to be opened. An autistic person may not be able to verbalize their needs. You are basically confined to your room and the lounge 7 days a week. It's not going to treat anybody's autism or help anybody with learning difficulties.
It's not.
Autistic people are most commonly sectioned when their care packages break down through no fault of their own," Inder added. He explained that most situations can be easily de-escalated with the correct training and support. Inder said, "A few years ago, Anmol got a bit aggressive with his support staff and a passerby called the police. It could have escalated badly. He was annoyed and banging on the car roof." Dad Inder says autistic people can be sectioned through no fault of their own, picture, Inder Johar, but it wasn't his fault, the staff had got it wrong. They were trying to take him cycling and he had said, even with limited vocabulary, "No, no, no, I don't want to go." They ignored his wishes. Luckily I was 15 minutes away.
Look, what I said in one of the previous bio streams, if we try to stand up for ourselves or say no to somebody, they simply just bully it and try to put fear in it. You fear me but love me. With messed up. Like, stuff like this is wrong. They even do it here in the US. It's just sickening. That we, from one of the people who I know who's not autistic but is Jew, he said when he was a kid, that we did it to people who were little kids right after they were born, or if they were still able to be like in a way. But Jane, that he said that happened. He said autistic people are going through the same thing that Jews had to go through before the Holocaust happened. So if we don't stop this from here, there will be a whole new Holocaust in the autism community. So we gotta stand up and tell them enough is enough. We'll not put up with this. Like, what else? Like, what he told me scared the crap out of me because I realized that stuff that Jews were going through before World War II ever broke out and before the Holocaust fully got started, it's like we happening to the autism community. Like, literally, and we are fighting back, trying to get our voice out there, our word out there, and tell them enough is enough. We're not going to put up with your crap anymore. And like, he told me he was taken from his parents, and stuff that they did right there, that we did to him and other people who were kids who were Jew. It's actually called manipulation. and control in a toxic, horrible way. But it just disgusted the hell out of me. I'm just saying, if we don't stop this fucking shit like it's going to happen to people like that in the autism community. We need to stop and stand up and tell them enough is enough. What we are doing, like, we finally got, or like we are about to get, electric therapy banned with a miracle. We're finally getting that banned. What we do, we're going to try to go after the urge that they used on a. But stuff like that need to stop, and I really do mean it.
Sai could come quickly, calm him down, and talk to the police, but for someone who doesn't have that support, it's such a narrow step to being sectioned. Rather than blame the care plan, it's the person who gets punished. He's the one who would have been detained. Inder now has 3 questions he and support workers ask themselves when Anmol requests something.
Yeah, same here in the US.
He said they ask, is it legal? Is it ridiculously dangerous? Can we afford it? And if it passes the 3 tests, you do it for him. Anmol is now very happy in an environment where he is able to make choices and enjoys being a member of Arsenal FC, swimming and going for drives with his family. Inder said, most people with autism, they just need the basics. To have food and be clean, to be loved and have something to look forward to. Anmol is cared for by his family and support workers at home. Picture, Inder Johar, if a person absolutely must be sectioned, there needs to be a refuge for them, like a sanctuary. Somewhere safe they can be while everyone gets their heads together and works out a plan. Caroline Hopton cares for her sons Oliver, 19, and Harry, 21, both of whom are autistic, at home in Windsor. Oliver's condition puts him at risk of being sectioned, which the mum of 2 and campaigner described as her worst nightmare. She said, we hear about people being fed through hatches, kept isolated and over-medicated. Often parents are put under gag orders and their visiting rights can be very, very limited. It's beyond Dickensian and it's barbaric. People go in for a few months to be assessed and detained for years. Parents' biggest fears are what will happen to their vulnerable children when they die and are no longer around to advocate for them. People have lost their children to inappropriate care. They've died from not having the right support. Oliver and Harry both live with their mum in Windsor. Picture, Caroline Hopton. Caroline's son Oliver was allegedly mistreated in 2 consecutive care homes. Since then, she has had to fight for him to receive the right care and his basic human right of being able to go to college. But she said he flourished after coming home, returning, not just in person, but also in spirit, adding that his case proves just how essential the right care package can be. She said, people with autism often suffer from anxiety and that's to do with an inability to express themselves. If they're in pain or emotionally upset, or indeed being neglected or abused in a facility, it can come out in behaviors that challenge. This can lead to them being sectioned, but they shouldn't be getting to those points. Oliver is thriving now because he has the right support. If you strip that away, he's going to be anxious, upset and confused and things would quickly spiral downhill. Caroline described the treatment as Dickensian. Picture, Caroline Hopton. Harry is currently not at risk as he has no behavior that challenge, but if he was stripped of support he could become isolated and depressed. Autistic people can be detained under the Mental Health Act because autism is listed as a mental health disorder. At the end of March 2019, NHS figures revealed there were 2,260 people with autism or learning disabilities in mental health hospitals. Inder and Caroline have now launched a crowdfunding appeal for specialist lawyers to advise on whether they can bring a judicial review to challenge the law. Anne-Marie Irwin, Senior Associate Solicitor at Irwin Mitchell, said, we intend to look at whether the Mental Health Act discriminates against people with learning disabilities and autism, whether it's a breach of their human rights, and whether it complies with the Equality Act, with the aim of sending a letter to the government stating why the law needs to be changed. They will have the opportunity to respond, but we may be left with no option but to issue a judicial review of whether the government is acting lawfully in maintaining this law.
What they did said, it is targeting, and it one of them, like, you can plain out see it. I hear DPE want back that train. Hey, here's somebody who would do a crowdfunding to go against it.
End the abuse of autistic people and people with a learning disability in inpatient units. 49,116 have signed. Let's get to 50,000. Geraldine Reith signed 3 hours ago. Julie Rexepi signed 3 hours ago. National Autistic Society started this petition to government of the United Kingdom. The events witnessed in tonight's Panorama Hospital Abuse Scandal documentary, where vulnerable adults who are autistic or have a learning disability were abused and mistreated, were truly shocking. This abuse must have no place in modern society. To watch the denial of vulnerable people's human rights should be regarded as a national scandal, but all the more so considering the government has failed to stop the use of inpatient units such as Horlton Hall through its recently ended Transforming Care program. This is not a question of money or funding. Millions of pounds are spent on keeping vulnerable children and adults locked up hundreds of miles from their homes. This is about where the money is spent and what kind of service it is spent on. Autism and learning disabilities are not a mental health conditions, and with the right use of this money on community services, these people would be in their homes, not in a mental health inpatient units. The time has come for reviews and investigations to end. No more empty promises. No more warm words. We need action from the government to stop the use of inpatient units and to safeguard the human rights of vulnerable adults who are autistic or have a learning disability. We call upon the government to end the abuse and mistreatment of autistic people and people with a learning disability in inpatient units by committing to the following. Declare that autistic people and people with a learning disability are #human too and must have their human rights safeguarded. Immediately commit to make money available to set up the right community services for autistic people and people with a learning disability, and that this is ring-fenced. Change the wording of the definition of mental disorder in the Mental Health Act, which currently includes autism and learning disability, whilst legally safeguarding at-risk individuals' access to care and treatment reviews. Establish accountability right across government to make sure this happens.
We need to do this here in the U.S. because we're dealing with this same damn thing.
BBC Panorama, We Need Action Now, the 23rd of May 2019. The abuse and mistreatment uncovered in last night's BBC Panorama documentary is heartbreaking and deeply shocking. This is a national scandal. The system of care for autistic people and people with a learning disability is broken. We've had enough discussions and reviews. We need the government to show leadership and act now to reform the system as a whole. Sign our petition. Sign our petition and tell the government to end the abuse and mistreatment of autistic people and those with learning disabilities in inpatient units. This will increase the impact of our charities and other campaigners' efforts to bring about the change that must happen. We need action now. We are calling on the government to.
We need to do that here in the U.S.
As well as this petition, our research in recent years has highlighted how autistic people in particular are being let down by the system, and we backed a petition for this to be debated in Parliament. Because the whole system of care needs to change, this year we are working with the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Autism to carry out an inquiry into the Autism Act and support for autistic people. And today, we have announced that we are backing a group of families' attempt to challenge the way that the Mental Health Act is used for autistic people. Tim Nichols, head of policy at the National Autistic Society, said, "The shocking abuse uncovered by BBC's Panorama investigation should provoke a national outcry, a call for action which the government cannot ignore. It's been 7 long years since the government pledged to transform care for autistic people and people with learning disabilities. It's clear from Panorama's investigation, and in reports this week from the Children's Commissioner and the CQC, that this has failed. Our first concern is whether every autistic person or person with a learning disability in that hospital is now safe and well supported. The abuse must be fully investigated, and the police and other authorities must establish exactly what has happened. It is now indisputable that the whole system of care for autistic people and people with a learning disability is broken. We've had enough discussions and reviews. What we need is the government to show leadership and act now to reform the system as a whole. This means making sure autistic people are able to access community services earlier on so they don't reach crisis point. It means finally fixing the crisis in social care funding and, importantly, it means reviewing the Mental Health Act's definition of autism as a mental disorder so we can stop autistic people being inappropriately detained. BBC Panorama will.
That happens here in the U.S. a lot more than they do in Europe and in the UK. Like, it happened more here in the U.S. Like, literally. And there are some parents who used it to their advantage to control their autistic, who are very mature, like parents who want to control and take advantage of their own kid or take with their own autistic adult to the point where they want to make money off of them. Like, there are parents who will do that. I've seen it. Like, literally. It's 10 times worse here in the US. Like, in a way.
Be exploring these issues further with a two-part investigation about the failing of the social care system, starting on Wednesday the 29th of May. Find out more on the Panorama website. Further information. Sign our petition and tell the government to end the abuse and mistreatment of autistic people and with a learning disability in inpatient units. Read about two hard-hitting reports from the Care Quality Commission, CQC, and the Children's Commissioner for England this week, which reveal the extent of the scandal of autistic people stuck in mental health hospitals. Read more stories about autistic people who've been stuck in inpatient care in our Transforming Care, Our Stories report, and find out about the extent of the scandal in our Beyond Transforming Care report. For information about what to do if an autistic family member is at risk or has been admitted to or discharged from a mental health hospital, visit our page on autism and mental health. Bringing us together have produced this very useful survival guide for care and treatment reviews.
It did piss in my gear that they do that, and it's 10 times worse here in the US. Like, back 2 years ago, an autistic adult girl with her soul dog, like, in her house, was having a mental breakdown. Cops were called, and in the end, she died. They shot her. And this shit is still going on. You gotta know, I don't support Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. I hate to say it, if Hillary Clinton went in office, that she actually supported finding a cure for autism. Donald Trump ignores the autism community, and he don't work them with. I don't think it's right, but also, if he did, it would probably be very bad for the autism community. And I don't know. I don't want to get involved with politics at all, but in 2020 election, we need somebody who can represent the autism community. We need somebody who can represent us in 2020 election. Like, we're actually on the autism spectrum. We're part of the autism right movement. Not anybody who is a mental specialist. Not anybody who is a mental doctor. Not anybody from Autism Speak. Maybe the Autism Self-Advocacy group, yes, but not though. But we need somebody to speak on our behalf who understand and know that everybody is different. But literally. And I heard from one of my friends who was from China. She says she will never go back, and she says she did have an autistic older sibling. Like, if you were born in China, they will try to, if you're autistic, they'll choose stuff for you. Like, literally, they try to manipulate people on the spectrum there to make it where They programmed them like they're like robots, and it's pretty messed up. And I mean more pathetically. Like, it's something like you see in a dystopian, or I can't say it word properly, where somebody born, they pick the job and stuff for them, with God forbid we don't need that. But if you're autistic in China, they will do that to you. They will simply choose for you with it messed up. And if you're autistic, you don't have a choice there. Now you do if you are able to find somebody to fall in love with, but sometimes on the rating they do support eugenics. They'll literally we pick something what I've been hearing from my friend who lost her older brother before they left China, is that he worked himself to death in a way, like they threw him off to the side like a machine, like an item. What communism is. Well, I don't support that either. The world is a hellhole for autistic on what we start chaining up. When we start chaining up and tell them enough and put our foot down, that one step will start to change.
Thank you for signing. National Autistic Society, May 24th, 2019. Thanks to everyone who has signed the petition so far. I'm sure like us you were moved to see call for real government action after witnessing the shocking footage in the BBC's excellent but harrowing documentary on Wednesday night. The National Autistic Society have been campaigning on this issue for a number of years, and whilst our latest petition was timed to coincide with the broadcast of the documentary, we have lots more work taking place on this issue. So if you would like to know more, or find out what support and advice might be available if you are affected by the issues covered in the documentary, please take a look at our website. We'll be posting further updates here and on our website as our campaign continues. Thank you for your support on this important issue.
It's important, alright, and we need to start making a change. Like, jump need to change. In a big way, like literally. Oh, anybody don't know, I was watching the movie Logan earlier. Damn good movie. And sad scene in that movie, Logan died at the end, saving his daughter. And I'm talking about the 2017 teen movie. That movie was good. Like, whatever, but yeah. Now, let me bring something up that involved what we were just talking about, that here in the U.S. and an autistic teen with autism, and it is female, was bullied to the point where she nearly committed suicide. And mess up teen, the school will not hold accountable, the bullies will not hold accountable. And here, they put her in a mental hospital, and it caused even worse problem. This is why we need change here in the U.S. We need change for the autism community, or the autistic community per se. I'm still getting you to change the autistic community, because that's what they call it. It's a little bit hard to get you to, because I'm still learning about my community, and you guys might be talking about it. For the last couple of years, I've been starting to see the truth and all stuff that I would never notice that I'm now seeing from our community now. And I now see why they were called autistic community instead of autism community, because the autism community talk about caregiver and the parents. The autistic community is talking about us. And it's something I'm still getting used to, even though I am autistic. But it messed up in a way, and we need to change it. Because if we don't, it will keep on happening. Like, literally, it will keep on happening unless we end the bull crap, the abuse and stuff that they put us through. But yeah.
A teen with autism attempted suicide after bullies told her to die. Her family is suing the school. iStock, by Kayla Epstein. May 30th. You should die. Dig a hole and bury yourself. Die of cancer, die in a fiery crash. Her mother was a fool to love her. A 14-year-old Franklin, Ind. Girl with special needs was barraged with these insults by her fellow students, leading her to attempt suicide twice. And the school district did nothing to remedy the problem, according to a lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Indiana this month. The plaintiffs, known as RN, and her mother and stepfather, both named as RT, in court documents, are suing the Franklin Community School Corp. In an attempt to hold them accountable and push for changes within the system. Thomas Blessing, a lawyer for the family, told the Washington Post that RN had been bullied for about 5 years. In addition to verbal taunts, he said the girl had been physically harassed by her fellow students. The endless taunting led her to attempt suicide twice, in May 2017 and again exactly a year later, he said. According to the complaint, RN has autism, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and depression, which makes her eligible for special education and protects her under federal law. It says the disability also made her a target for her peers. The lawsuit alleges that the school district created, fostered, or permitted a hostile environment to exist in RN's school that deprived her of educational opportunities and benefits on the basis of her disability. Blessing said RN's family repeatedly implored the school district to discipline their daughter's bullies and have them removed from her classes. RN's parents met and emailed with various school administrators and staffers about the bullying problem, according to the complaint, yet they failed to take reasonable measures to prevent it or to stop it from happening.
This is something that happened a lot here in the U.S. Like, I deal with it in elementary school, and the student who bullied me got away with it. Like, literally. Now, in middle school, ooh, one time they thought they were going to get away with it, and then when my older sister was still in that type of change, she was still protected over me for a time before she started trying to take advantage of me, using me for money, because my older sister tried to use me for money now. I say no to her. But when she was younger, she was much nicer and was protective over me. And one time, a kid in the same class as her was talking about ganging up, or actually bragging about shoving me into the toilet, like jam up toilets in the bathroom. Shoved me so hard in my chest, I had a bruise spot right here, a bruise spot on my chest. That's how hard he shoved me on the metal pipe and on that toilet. Like, I had a bruise spot at how hard he pushed me. And he was bragging about it, laughing with his friend. And when he went to the bathroom, my sister decided to follow him after she heard him and beat the living snot out of him, where he ended up having to go to the hospital. And I did not know what happened to him about a year later, because my sister already graduated from middle school to high school. And what I found out is he did get in trouble for it, because my sister told him what happened. She was in handcuffs after that. And they did let her go and did not put charge on her because she was protecting me. But he got charged with. I was surprised that it was not another typical of people like him getting away with stuff like that. Now, a year later, he came back to our school, and he was the same grade as me, but he ended up apologizing. He said, he said he did had it coming to him, or like he said, he told me he had it coming to him, and what my sister did to him, he said it was justice. Like, he apologized, but you don't normally hear about people admitting that they did something wrong and getting attacked for it, that they deserved it. But he did. He admitted it. My jaw was dropped. And it was at the time when I would have been I'm still socially awkward, but at the time when I mostly did, hardly did not talk to anybody. That all changed in high school. He did because he would hold back a year. After a year, when I was a junior, he was shocked to found that I actually had friends in high school. And he was hoping that I did not, because, if a person was bullied back in another school, and if they have friends in that school who don't like bullying, that bullied you when you were younger, that they will probably sick them on you. But I forgave him and accepted it. He was shocked and said revenge is not the way, and it's not. But I do like watching the revenge stories because they are funny. But stuff changed. Not a one in a lifetime scene that not that many people aren't expected to deal with. But it shocked me. But let's get back to the story.
School officials had told the parents that they were taking care of it, Blessing said, and suggested that the girl attend half-days or enroll in homebound services. One would think the first suicide attempt would have gotten the school to pay attention and do something about it, Blessing said, noting that the bullying ran the gamut from verbal abuse to threats to physical assault. As a result of the harassment, RN had trouble sleeping and began having auditory and visual hallucinations, the complaint says. Eventually, RN became so depressed that she developed suicidal thoughts, at one point telling an adult that she believed that going to heaven would cure her autism. The family wants school district staff to
did one thing about the bullying. One of the things that causes it, autism speaks, yes. With their thing, finding cure bullshit. I call that finding cure for autism. It's not bullshit, and I find it like Nazi propaganda. That's what I typically call it. And it needs to stop. Like, literally. I might need to trim my beard later on. But it needs to stop. I need to trim my beard. Like, literally. But it's stuff that needs to stop in a way. And it needs to end. because we deal with it on a daily basis.
Be educated on how to identify and mitigate bullying, and for the school to discipline the students responsible for tormenting their daughter. Under Indiana law, schools are required to have written rules in place for how to handle bullying, which it defines as overt, unwanted, repeated acts or gestures made verbally, physically, in writing or via digital transmissions that place a person or their property in danger of harm or endanger their physical or mental well-being. Blessing said that RN's attempts to take her own life clearly demonstrate that such harm was inflicted. The Franklin Community School Corp. Attorney, Thomas Wheeler, declined to comment on the allegations in the case, as it
He know that the reason why he declined it because he know that the school was in wrongdoing. 9 times out of 10, when a company or a person know that they went wrongdoing, they will not comment. They won't speak. They'll keep their mouth shut because they don't want to pile it even worse for them. It's a technique that dirty people like using. Like, literally, dirty people like using that technique. Like, they won't comment or say anything because they know they are guilty of it in a way. And sometimes they try to defy a plan to get out of the consequences. That's the reason why you hear people all the time saying no comment or won't speak at all. Because they know that they're guilty and they want to find a way out without nobody figuring it out until the last minute. That's the reason why.
involves a minor, but he said that the school follows all federal and state directives on bullying as well as its own policies and has done so consistently.
If they did, they would not be in that problem. Not one of the card that they tried to pull. If they did, they would not be going to court. The girl would not be having suicide problems. The bullying would have quit, but they ignored it. They did not follow and they straight up lie.
Consistently. According to the school district's website, it have developed a bullying prevention plan to comply with state laws that require it to do so. Franklin Community Schools is committed to providing students a safe and nurturing environment, the site reads. FCS has implemented an anonymous reporting system for anyone who is a victim of bullying or witnessed bullying at school. But the complaint alleges that it has not met those standards in this case and goes further to allege that there is a long-standing and systemic bullying problem, and that the severity of the bullying is worse for students with disabilities than it is for their peers in general education. As far as what the school has done, it's not working, Blessing said.
But yeah, I hate to say it. If I'm hurt or a parent, I would do a multi-million lawsuit against him. Like, my brother friend or girlfriend, not saying her name, her and her mom are doing a multi-$3 million lawsuit against her dad and grandma and behave and say for wrongdoings. Like, literally, her dad and grandma were abusive toward her. Like, I talked to mom and he was abusive toward her and he lied a lot and he was a drug addict. And 9 times out of 10, he and the grandma might end up in jail and a lot of people might get fired. So, yeah. And it might end up on international news. So, if it do, you know that I know the people who done the lawsuit. So, if it end up on international news, then you know that I know the person. So, if it don't, then oh well. But if it happens, then it, it just deserved if it happens. And you gotta know how much I know that when that is gerb, it's sweet. happen to have never happened. And another thing to talk about the dark side of the autism in the workplace, that talk about how people are taking advantage of autistic and using it as their moneymaker or as slaves. With another thing that's disgusted me.
The Dark Side of Autism in the Workplace. June, Diversity and Inclusion, author, educator, senior recruiter, outreach specialist, autism. Where, after all, do universal human rights begin? In small places close to home. So close and so small that they cannot be seen on any maps of the world. Yet they are the world of the individual persons. The neighborhood they live in. The school or college they attend. The factory, farm, or office where they work. Such are the places where every man, woman, and child seeks equal justice, equal opportunity, equal dignity without discrimination. Unless these rights have meaning there, they have little meaning anywhere. Eleanor Roosevelt, former First Lady and U.S. Delegate to the United Nations. A place to fit in. I am a very detail-oriented person. I am able to concentrate well on tasks. I tend to have a unique perspective when confronted with problems, and I often come up with unique solutions. I tend to perform various tasks at a relatively swift pace without sacrificing the quality of my work. I enjoy being challenged by different tasks and find I respond well when I am. Variety in my work helps me stay focused. It's helpful for me to know what I need to do each day because I feel knowing what my goal is aids me in reaching it. I tend to work quickly, so I appreciate having a steady flow of work. This message is indicative of many general correspondences I receive from autistic job seekers across the USA in my job role as a senior recruiter and outreach specialist at a technology company with a neurodiverse hiring initiative. In fact, most of the 1,000s of autistic adults that I have connected with worldwide have reported unique self-taught skills and talents, specialized training in a particular subject of interest, some degree of advanced education or want of further education. Unfortunately, a large number of working-age autistics have left numerous jobs, taken on work well below their earning potential, juggle several part-time jobs, and face the economical and emotional effects of unemployment and receiving government financial assistance. During a poignant YouTube plea to find a job, an autistic woman, on the archival job hunt whilst autistic, reported, "I have all these amazing work qualities. I'm extremely creative and innovative. I am phenomenally focused. Every employer I've ever had in the past has been amazed at how much stuff I can get done, with the level of accuracy, and that I get done in such a short amount of time. I'm always going to try new things, to bring new ideas." Autistic adults fortunate enough to find gainful employment are the minority. And it's not what you think. According to my findings and interactions with autistics across the globe, individuals on the spectrum are not generally uneducated or underskilled. More typically, they cannot find a place to fit in. As a result, many resort to underemployment, unemployment, or self-employment. With upwards of 24% of the population now reporting at least one disability in the workplace, we aren't an anomaly. Frankly, many of us, despite our neurology, with the epidemic of loneliness, need a place to fit in. From what I've heard in large circles, by and large, autistics don't want to leave their place of employment but feel forced to leave. Often coping with debilitating anxiety and PTSD, autistic spectrum community members state that it is the repeated incidents of bullying, segregation, misunderstandings, discrimination, and other oppressive workplace practices that they find intolerable.
That first job I had, you gotta remember, if you guys will describe to me during the summer, or right toward the end of the summer of 2018, I did have a job for about a month, but then they let me go. And the only reason why I was able to get a job there because my mom knew them. Like, she straight up knew them, and they checked, we knew I was autistic, and they took advantage of it. Literally. And when they when they told me that they were letting me go because they did not have enough work hours for me, I was shocked. And then about a week to 2 weeks later, my mom came storming in and was scolding me because they said the reason why they let me go was because I'm on my phone with the opposite, and they technically lied to my mom. And her reason why because they said I was talking to other people there too. Like, you gotta know I'm a social person, but technically, one of the reasons why because of autistic, but they were targeting me, treating me different. Now, here at Gene, everybody else who worked there was talking to people. Literally, everybody else was talking to people there, and everybody else was on their phone all the time. So technically, they targeted me to get rid of me. They lied to me, and they lied to my mom. Like, literally. And I realized the truth that they did took advantage of me. And my mom was dumbfounded and did not realize it. She still don't realize it. Like, literally. Like, they're small. It's pretty hard to say. But they did let me go. But not because of that. Because of targeting, and they did not want somebody with autism working there. Until after a month. Like, I started working there, and I only worked there for a month before they let me go. I'm not saying who it is because I know that they will eventually screw up one day and have a reckoning coming for them. So, technically, it's only a matter of time.
It's not pretty, but it needs to be said. This is the world we live in. It's not the autism. It's the workplace culture. As the media and PR campaigns continually push out the news of thousands of young autistics being supported in finding work, typically in menial, low-paying, entry-level jobs, older autistics, who have endured years of underemployment, inadequacies in pay, and abusive mistreatment, are not typically being supported. The Autism at Work
and I'm technically on the list of I'm maybe 20, but technically I can rate myself to the older group. Literally. I can relate myself to the older group out there. Like, in a way.
The Autism at Work initiatives are failing autistics on a variety of fronts, as highlighted in this article. Neurodiversity hiring initiatives, are they failing autistics? Despite some good intentions, we remain a marginalized minority that is continually misunderstood and repeatedly compartmentalized. When we aren't being mistreated, we are being told how to improve ourselves and become more non-autistic. We aren't broken people, but we live in a broken culture. Even as adults on the autism spectrum are seeking assistance and acknowledging their vast potential to be meaningful contributors to society, the current system in place is setting us up to fail.
That's true.
Empirical evidence now supports that autistics have no social and communication deficits amongst our own people. It is not the autism that is at issue, but the culture we are immersed in, a workplace without autistic role models, without autistic managers, and without autistic leaders. Consider if the tables were turned. What if the non-autistic citizens were entering a workplace where all the upper management, all the decision makers, all the primary spokespeople, all the board members, all the leadership team, all the CEOs were autistic? What if the neurotypicals were the token, poster child? What if we tried to make you act more autistic? Despite the well-meaning thought leaders, the autism in the workplace mentality and campaign fuels autistic stereotypes and highlights a disabled people as less than, in need of help, in need of education, in need of low-end jobs. It largely ignores the vast population of autistics who have multiple degrees and have held down multiple jobs. This week I received a disturbing message from a neurodivergent citizen who wishes to remain anonymous. They reported that a vocational agency in Canada is slotting autistic people into unsuitable roles, specifically pegging into certain tech data entry roles. They went on to say, the firms themselves are not always nefarious in motives and out to misslot talent. They are just peddled a message that autism equals coding savant. This is the dark side of autism hiring initiatives. Traumatized autistics of all ages have reported mistreatment as a result of these PR initiatives, vocational agents providing no confidentiality with disability disclosure, e.g. Hiring manager told of Asperger's diagnosis and the negative, stereotypical behaviors to expect from new employee, forced to make eye contact, criticized for their natural way of being, forced to work with a job coach or undertake ABA training in order to receive job assistance, told to attend emotional IQ training. The hard facts are the workplace training sought to be less focused on understanding autism, and more focused on improving the conditions of the workplace, quality leadership, best communication practices, and universal diversity and inclusion training. The problem isn't fitting the square peg into the round hole. The problem is we need to reconfigure the round hole, and make the workplace conducive to a sense of belonging for everyone. The plain truth is organizations are failing to support neurodivergent citizens. We are sometimes treated like children and other times treated like outcasts. It is essential that we understand that not all autistics need vocational agency help. Not all autistics need counseling, job coaches, or the like. We need the workplace environment to change, not the other way around. We seek equal justice, equal opportunity, and equal dignity without discrimination. As the iconic phrase goes, spun from the Spider-Man comic, with great power comes great responsibility. It's time to take responsibility for the human rights of autistics. Founder and president of Spectrum Pseudolk, Marcel Ciampi, aka Samantha Kraft, M.Ed. Is an autism educator, the author of the blog and book Everyday Asperger's, and an active member in autism circles locally and globally. She serves as a guest speaker, workshop presenter, and neurodiversity consultant. This article is an excerpt from the manuscript Autism in a Briefcase, written to provide insight to employers and agencies about the neurodiverse talent pool. A former schoolteacher and advocate for children on the spectrum, she appreciates the skills and talents of autistics.
But yeah, exactly, I'm on that list. I thought about when I do move to California, I thought about doing an autistic business for people. But yeah, the thing is that I'm thinking about doing it's something I'm going to do now that I am thinking about it, either doing the California or the Autism News Channel, or when I do California. Because I heard that right over there where people on autism spectrum getting jobs that they are like higher than it is here on the East Coast. I heard that it better in Midwest and West Coast. Like, and it's crazy. But I gotta get out of South Carolina. I have to. There's no way I'm going to end up with a job here in South Carolina that is good for me. And the only reason why I'm doing part-time job is to keep my disability, because my mom bugged me to. Literally, my mom bugged me to keep that so I can keep my disability, because exactly, my mom, I love my mom. She is overprotective, but she is holding me back. And she had to let go. And I can't keep doing dead-end jobs or part-time jobs. I need to find something that I love and that I can do, that I can make the money off while doing, like something that make me happy. Like, literally. And something needs to change. It didn't need to change. If we don't do this, nothing will change. We need to change and make it different for people on the autism spectrum. That if we don't, it will keep on happening. Just need to change for the better. Copy now. This is something that we need to speak about heavily. That if we don't, job won't change. It needs change. It's about time. But yeah. But it's a crazy chain. Uh, Before I move, I'm going to have to clean the hair off that I got for my fiance for Christmas. So I'm going to have to clean that off. But we need to work hard on getting the world to change for the autism community. Or technically the autistic community. Sorry about that. For there are people out there who are like and for people out there who are typical, well, job needs to change. You need to start treating that better.
Building bridges to nowhere on workplace best practices for keeping autistic persons terminally jobless. J. David Hall. November 10th, 2018, 6 minutes read. The bitter irony of his dressing in black was not lost on me. He smiled a hopeful smile before walking into the job interview practice hosted by a local autism organization. As I watched him go, I felt a wave of deep frustration, suppressed my urge to go in after him and tell the organizers about the unintended consequences of their well-meant but ultimately damaging status quo reinforcing efforts. Even though the research into jobless rates of autistic persons is somewhat patchy, we do know it is high enough to be labeled simply horrid. While the U.S. Labor Department gives us the good news of a 49-year record low of unemployment in the United States of 3.7%, it is estimated autistic adults are in the 80% unemployment range. While some of this is soft employment persons seemingly endlessly bouncing from job to job, much of the unemployment of autistic persons is terminal in nature. Most autistic adults are jobless, and unless the matrix of employment of autistic persons changes, they are going to remain jobless for the rest of their lives. So, why would practicing job interview skills be such a bad thing for autistic persons? Let me ask you this. Do you think a tomato plant will grow in a desert environment? While the neurodiversity movement is gaining ground, and a few employers are beginning to grasp the value of crafting workplace cultures honoring persons with disabilities, even uniquely abled autistic persons, the hard fact of the matter is the majority of workplaces today are uninviting, demeaning places to autistic, neurodivergent persons.
That's true.
Just running the gauntlet of trying to get through a job interview with someone who doesn't understand your frequency is a harrowing exercise in sheer madness for autistic persons. Tragically, recruiters, HR professionals, managers, and business owners are relentlessly demonstrating themselves to be deeply ignorant of the actual workplace success needs of actually autistic persons. And rather than adjusting workplace environments to be more welcoming to autistic persons, thus gaining valuable workers, they've found it much easier to simply tell autistic persons, this isn't really working out, so we're letting you go. Also, autistic persons who are employed are either
That would happen to me. My mom don't realize it, but I have realized it. I realize it now. And I might need to change it in the herb to change to my mom to make her realize that she have to let me go and choose, because if she don't, I'm going to end up going down a path that is bad. That one thing I don't have a problem with, and now because I will be moving to California at the end of August, beginning of September, like during that time, I would be planning to move. So, yeah. And it's big. So it's going to be crazy during that timeline, like between late August and late October. Because a lot of stuff is going to change then. Now, I will be starting to move all this up sometime during August, late August, meaning all stuff in the room will be being packed up and put in boxes, like shipping boxes, and they will be shipped over there. Clothes that are probably in the closet that are not pants, because I will need pants, and I'm going to have to get more pants and shorts because I don't know, I only have 5 pairs of pants right now, and the money I have on me, it will be going for the big move. So that was one reason why for the GoFundMe page that my mom made. That was one of the reasons why. It's a help. Yeah, it rained outside. Fuck me up again.
Exerting enormous personal energy and masking or hiding their autism in plain sight, or they are in one of the few job market sectors where their culturally celebrated, venerated information technology, go, nerds go. While the latest efforts by some technology companies to hire autistic persons is certainly appreciated, especially by autistic persons working in these companies, the reality is many autistic persons are not nor ever will be interested in careers in technology. That some workplaces insist working in IT is the answer to autistic unemployment is a profoundly rude and disrespectful posture towards the multifaceted gifting and talents of autistic persons worldwide.
Exactly.
I'm familiar with an autistic person who happens to be one of the finest neurosurgeons in the country. Can you imagine if your loved one was denied a vital medical procedure, was operated on by a less competent surgeon simply because this particular autistic medical practitioner had been deemed to only be employable as a computer programmer? Of course, not all autistic persons are destined to be brain surgeons. Some autistic persons I personally know dream of being cooks, gardeners, musicians, and artists. But all of them wish to belong, to use their minds, hands to work, to own a sense of belonging, being known as being a value in the culture. Recently, the in vogue workplace office setting is open space design, where all the walls come down and company workers are no longer constrained by cubicles, office walls, and so on. This is an especially horrid idea for autistic persons, the majority of persons who live with sensory processing issues every waking hour of their lives. In an already noise-polluted culture, the idea of being stuck without any personal or sensory buffers in one of these open space offices is repugnant to autistic persons.
Not everybody is like that. Like, I deal with noise, but when I was working, there were no cubicle, and it did not bother me. Like, that stuff did not bother me at all. The thing that bothered me is when people treated me wrong and stereotyped me and treated me different. My mom even tell her stuff before they tell me. That, I get aggravated when my mom do that. Like, it get me pissed off. Like, and it immature. I'm 20, and my mom still do that. My mom sometimes tell people that I'm on autism spectrum. Won't let me explain myself. Like, literally. That immature right there. A parent who realize that they need to let go and realize it's time to let them grow up will let them explain themselves. I love my mom, but she is overprotective with this stuff. And that the other thing that is holding me back.
Imagine someone who just wants to do their job in their workspace, produce results for their company, get a paycheck, and at the end of each day, go home to curl up with their fluffy pet. And now, thanks to the new open office design, they are intolerably distracted by having to work in a 360-degree sensory defensive zone. Again, a truly horrible idea being polished up, paraded as some sort of breakthrough moment by the architects of workplace culture.
Not everybody in the autism community are like that with sensory overload. And one, I'll probably go and curl up with my fiance Val. But yeah, her YouTube channel link it down and skip down below. But not all people on the spectrum are like that. Like literally, everybody is different. And I understand where they're person is coming from.
Culture. So, should we merely leave it at the doorstep of business leaders to feel badly about the sad plight of autistic would-be employees? After all, business is business, and if you don't fit in the company culture, then the company must put team needs ahead of everything else, right? No, the time for thinking this way has long passed. Regardless of the fact, companies who steer around neurodivergent persons are missing out on incredibly high-capacity workers, ones with a job retention rate many times that of their neurotypical peers. The truth is, companies who systematically derail the job opportunities of autistic persons are complicit in their deaths. Excuse me, did you just state complicit in their deaths? Yes. If you didn't know already, and the mainstream media is not exactly making headlines of this hard news, autistic adults are taking their own lives in droves. With an estimated suicide rate 9 times the grim national average, autistic persons have a life expectancy of around 36 years of age. Constant anxiety, crushing depression mixed with the out-of-reach workplace makes for a lethal cocktail for too many autistic persons. Companies with a warped workplace culture, one which offers welcome to neurotypical persons, normal folk, but is unwelcoming to neurodiverse persons, plays an accessory role in their demise. If you're a business owner, a leader, someone who willfully turns a blind eye to the employment reach of autistic persons and the broader systemic failure of workplaces to make changes to reasonably accommodate autistic persons, then you stand accused of not only discrimination, but of destruction of other human persons. It simply does not have to be this way. Somewhere in the tension between the way things are now and the way things ought to be, is a better way of doing business, one inclusive, even celebrating neurodiversity understanding. Here are a couple of suggestions for changing our culture's workplaces into models of diversity for the future. Hire a neurodiversity consulting organization to train your company in how to craft a truly neurodiverse-friendly workplace. It's a great first step to grow your organization, and your best assets your people in deepening, strengthening workplace relationships.
That's true.
Bringing in outside help is a time-honored way to promote change. When it's needed, most people don't try and fix their own bodies, they bring in the help of a doctor. Relax, say AHAAA, and stick out your tongue, please. Bring in a neurodiversity broker onto your staff. Hire and empower someone who transcends the business as usual workplace culture and can work with staff leaders, individuals, and work team groups to change the narrative from the ground up in your workplace. These people are few and a bit hard to find at the moment, but definitely worth the effort. The move towards a fully inclusive, neurodiverse workplace of the future has begun. And in time, it will eclipse the working world culture we know today. Why not get on board now? There are millions of autistic adults watching and hoping the doors of your workplace will truly be open to them soon.
Exactly. We need to work towards this. It's up we need to work sword. Like, it's time for change. Like, it's up that we need to do a big change for. Like, literally. Let me check what.
Welcome to TES Polygogy. Today my guest is Dr. Luke Bearden. He is Senior Lecturer and member of the Autism Centre at Sheffield Hallam University. He's been researching this area for more than 20
That I might save for that week video. Because if it go and take 40, well, let me check how long it is again. If it going to take 45 minutes, that's a little too long for the live stream. But I'll probably talk about it in that week of live stream a little bit more. Now, let's see what we have. But change is coming, and we need to work toward it. I know it's like I said earlier, but we need to even work harder for it. Like, what are we?
3 golden rules for supporting autistic pupils. We need to move beyond generalizations and bust some of the myths around autism, says this expert. By John Severs. The 7th of November 2018. Being autistic is not necessarily disabling, explains Dr. Luke Bearden. Instead, it is a disadvantage. And is that disadvantage a result of being autistic, or is it a result of being in a certain environment? Dr. Bearden is certain it is the latter. He is a senior lecturer working within the Autism Center at Sheffield Hallam University, and on this week's Podagogy podcast he explains why he believes autistic children have an unnecessarily challenging time in school. Advertisement. Being a teacher and having that level of expectation to engage with the autistic community without really good solid levels of support is massively unfair on the teacher, the child and the family, he explains. But there is no doubt we are failing these kids. Signs of autism in children. Partly, this is down to a misconception that there is a set way of supporting autistic young people, he says. I go into some schools and they will tell you they know how to support an autistic child, as they taught Jane last year, who was autistic, at which point I would say that just demonstrates that you do not know what you are talking about, as you are assuming that what works for Jane will work for Johnny. You will never get one thing that works for all autistic people.
That's true.
It is all about understanding that the person is autistic, understanding that this means that the majority of the standard ways you teach may not be effective, and then trying to adapt those ways of teaching to an individual autistic need. Identifying children with autism. Another way that children are being failed, though, is a failure to identify them as being autistic. You get some autistic children who adopt masking behavior to get by during the day, but that does not dispel the underlying anxiety they are feeling at school. So what is going on behind the scenes may be very different to what the teacher sees, and that child may go home and wreck the house as their anxiety has hit a level they just cannot deal with, says Dr. Bearden. Certainly.
One is a culprit, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything. When I went to West Ashley High School, I actually went to class with another student. Like, he went in special need and resource. And the only class that he went in was one resource class. That I had only 3 resource classes and 1 normal class. Trust me, my high school was one of those type that you probably didn't want to go around. There are better schools than the one that I went to. Like, I'll admit that. But he had his sensory overload to the point where he started freaking out and melting down. He broke a smart board, and I understand the reason why, because he was getting his sensory overload. And like, it's something that teachers don't understand. They don't understand it. Like, literally. And they sometimes try to tackle us or do that thing. Like, literally, if you see how school treat people on the autism spectrum, it will probably disgust you. There have to be better ways. And not all autistics learn the same way or act the same way. But literally, you have to think about it.
From an education point of view, I understand why, if all problems are at home, the assumption is made that it must be the home environment, but it is almost always the case that it has built up anxiety over the day, and the child feels comfortable enough at home to show that anxiety. I know so many parents find it very difficult to communicate to schools what happens at home, especially if the behavior does not happen at school. But parents are to be believed, they do not make these things up. Autism support. There are practical processes that schools can abide by that ensure the autistic child's needs are met, argues Bearden, and he groups these as 3 golden rules. Autism plus the environment equals the outcome. That outcome might be positive or negative, but the person who is autistic remains the same.
Not true.
It is the environment that leads to the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want a successful outcome, and you recognize the person with autism cannot change their brain, then the only thing you can change is the environment. And that often, but not always, means the people within that environment. If you are going to apply a way of engaging an autistic person which is the same as you would use for the rest of the non-autistic population, talking to them, teaching them, then the more success that has with the non-autistic person, the less chance it will have of working with the autistic population. Basically, the traditional way will just not work. What you put in needs to balance out with what you get out. There is no point spending hours getting an autistic.
Oh my. Oh my god. You guys gotta look at this. Dude, I have to pause the video. That's Dewey. Oh. Oh my god. If you look right there. Oh. Let me take. What? Oh, it ran away. It ran away. But, yeah. Oh my god, that is funny. Wait, is that a... What? That a freaking frog in my room? Holy shit. What the fuck? Well, let me... It's not moving. I think Runaway petrified that thing. Oh dear. Gotta feel bad for this sucker. Whoop, nope, it's alive. It's alive. Oh my god. I might later on download my live stream later on from YouTube and edit this part out, make it a little funny part. Later on when I have time. Because that is kind of funny. And it might go in part with a blooper video if I ever think about one. But yeah. And they are budding me. But we got a frog in the room. We got a runaway. So, yeah. Now let's get back to right here.
Autistic child to develop a skill they will not use in the long run. People might spend hours getting an autistic kid to handwrite. Why? Let them touch type. If you have a child who finds grip really difficult because of their autism, give them a laptop. It makes everyone's life a lot easier. Pick your battles, essentially. Flexibility is key. In the podcast, Dr. Bearden also discusses behavior policies, and reasonable adjustments. In a lot of secondary mainstream schools, just a little bit of understanding can make a big difference. It does not have to cost a lot or be major, but it might make a huge difference to an autistic child. I am massively in favor of anything that is likely to make the life of an autistic kid better in school. I am a big fan of staggered transition times, as the corridor crush can be a nightmare. Getting rid of the school bell can be really helpful. If there are things we can do that are likely to be more effective for autistic kids that are not going to do any harm to anyone else, then let's absolutely go for it. This includes bending the rules so, for example, a child can take their shoes off or loosen a tie or undo a top button due to sensory challenges. He argues that the notion such exceptions will bring a behavior policy crashing down are ill-founded. To listen to the podcast in full where Dr. Bearden discusses these issues in more detail and gives a huge amount of advice to teachers, search for Tease the Education Podcast on your podcast platform or click the player below.
I will do that in next week live stream because the broadcast is 45 minutes long and we already been going on for an hour. So yeah, but later on I might download the video and get to the part where the frog snuck into the room and might edit that and make that into a funny blooper moment. Or a funny moment. Like, that might be funny. But that I would not expect them to happen. At all. But, yeah. Now let me go to the next thing where I'm going. And it's amazing. But it's going to take a few minutes to work on it. What the? Notice when you have stuff that it acting in a bad way, it's pretty annoying. What? Okay, this part might go into it. Up there, the frog. Right there. I don't know how in the hell that sucker snuck into the room. Except for one thing, run away. He probably was one who chased the frog in the room. And he's still in front of my door. And he not coming in. After the live stream, I might get that frog out. Because I don't want to wake up with a frog in my mouth in the morning. At all. But he's going in my closet and there's something, what's it saying, naughty. That I have on closet 4. TMI. And I don't want frog to get on. But he is trying to get in here. But yeah. I might try to do like a little blooper video of it. If I ever get a chance to. But that might be later on down the line. Now it gets to something that I find amazing.
A contestant with autism will make history in the Miss Florida pageant. By race.
Whoa. 1 minute. He's still there. But I'm not going to touch the frog, but I am going to move it with my foot. Nope. Oh, there we go. So, yeah. Froggy started. Yeah, you're on my dream, you little bedhead. You're the reason why I ran away. Get at my door. You're not getting into my closet. No. I'm steering him in the right direction. Oh, there you go. There you go. No, you're not going up my wall. Uh-oh. Oh, oh, this video is beginning to come. Oh, I'm sorry about that, guys. So when the people called me a second ago, was screwed up the live stream. 1 minute. But yeah. And sorry about that cutout. You're not going up my wall. Uh-oh. Hey, no. Sorry about that, guys. It's been a crazy episode. But hold on, let me check if the live stream was tampered with. Because last time, I was testing it out on a private live stream, and somebody called me, but kind of disrupted the live stream. But we've been going on for an hour and an hour and 5 minutes, be exact. But yeah, I'll get you that article in just a minute. But that only the second time ever on a live stream that a friend had called me from. That was the reason why the stream cut out for a few minutes, about a minute or so. That was the reason why the live stream cut out, if you guys don't know. And I am terribly sorry for that. Like, literally, Jane about live streaming on a phone with an app or from it is that you gotta expect the unexpected, like something like that. That's the reason why the live stream cut out. And I know after about a couple of minutes so, if you don't get to it in a couple of minutes or so it will cut the video right there and it'll be uploaded. So yeah. That was same with the app that you gotta be careful about. So if you did a video, beware of it being uploaded if it gets cut off by somebody randomly calling you. That you gotta watch out for. So I'm sorry about that. But I need to make sure when it cut out, I need to make sure. So it's just gonna be a minute. But yeah. But this is one of the another crazy live stream again. It's kind of ironic. That's again on my. But it's okay. Nope. You're not. You're not there now. Not good. But that I did not see coming. At all. But what I hope and did not happen is that when I live stream it, it cut off, because if I missed it, that's gonna be a hard one. Here the cutoff point.
Lesson: in need of help, in need of education, in need of low-end jobs. It largely ignores.
Once I was checking it out on a private live stream, somebody called me. But it completely cut out there, and it's been 5 minutes and to 6 minutes that cut out. But that just does happen. Like, it completely cut out on me. So, I'm terribly sorry about that. Because a friend did call me. And I would get ready to pause the video. Or not the video, but on my tablet. Did how I copy everything down and put it on here on a reader to help, because you gotta know I'm not a good reader, and it gives an extra way for I can debate this stuff out much easier. So I get cheating out from it. But I'm about to pause it and walk over there because to get the frog from, in a way, was pretty ironic. But now let's get to. Oop. I had that sound.
A contestant with autism will make history in the Miss Florida pageant. By Ray Sanchez, CNN. Posted at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday, June 8, 2019. Rachel Barcelona will make history as the first contestant with autism at the Miss Florida pageant. CNN, growing up with autism, Rachel Barcelona was told to limit her expectations. I was basically promised that I would never graduate any school really or have any friends, she told CNN affiliate WFLA.
And she proved them wrong. Exactly like what I did. I proved them wrong. I do have friends. I did graduate from high school, but only with an occupational credential. The only reason why with occupational credential because at the time, back in 2017, but now the rules are different, meaning if I did so one day, I would have been able to get an occupational credential. Or not an occupational credential, a diploma. Because they changed the rules now. But because of that, I got screwed. But I did graduate from high school.
WFLA. Pretty much everything bad was going to happen to me because I have autism. Later this month, Barcelona, 22, will make history as the first contestant with autism to take the stage of the Miss Florida pageant. I want to use my voice to inspire hope to others, Barcelona told CNN affiliate WFTS in April after being selected to speak at the United Nations for World Autism Day. Related article, a trainer on the autism spectrum wanted a place for people with autism to work out, so he opened a gym. Awareness is okay, but we need acceptance. The Tampa Bay resident credits her mother, a nurse practitioner, as a driving force in her young life. She has competed in pageants on and off since she was 5 and
acceptance is better than awareness. It's something I've been going for. If you guys don't know, high chance of people get on autism spectrum getting bullied are during Autism Awareness Month. But please, that causes autism acceptance don't get that much bullying. You see the difference there?
Barcelona told the stations she aspires for more. She is a singer, an advocate for people with disabilities, a junior at the University of South Florida and a role model to kids in her work at the Glazer Children's Museum in Tampa. I want people to know that autism does not hold me back, she told WFTS. It's actually...
That right. Autism don't define you. You define autism and what she is doing. Well, I agree with. Boop.
She is a singer, an advocate for people with disabilities, a junior at the University of South Florida and a role model to kids in her work at the Glazer Children's Museum in Tampa. I want people to know that autism does not hold me back, she told WFTS. It's actually an opportunity for me to achieve my dreams. On the website of the Dyspraxia Foundation USA, Barcelona wrote that she has Asperger's syndrome, loves to sing opera and hopes one day to open a school for children with disabilities. She also described her struggles with epilepsy, the neurological disorder dyspraxia, and the learning disorder dyscalculia. The phrase, "you don't look autistic," I get that all the time, Barcelona told WFTS. And I just want to say, what does autism look like to you? Pageant judges often bring up her disability, but she told WFLA that she responds, "It doesn't affect me negatively, and I am very capable of inspiring people and holding a title." The preliminary rounds of the Miss Florida competition will be held in Lakeland from June 25th to 27th, with the finals on June 29th.
All right. We need to work for change. And I'm still having. So I met it from my fiance mom, Anna.
David Bell championed singing contest last night.
Oh my! That was pretty good. Oh my God, That makes me excited. Oh, that excited me. That made me feel better. I'll be honest. That made me feel better hearing that. From my fiance mom. And you see where it said yes in excitement. But yeah, now it goes towards I'm friending a lot of other people who are on the autism spectrum or the group. Because I'm finding a lot of people. And when I start to change, I want to recruit where I can work on my group. Like, literally, in a way. Like, anybody that I define that are on the autism spectrum or for the autism right movement or for the self-advocacy group, I'm following or friending to make the group bigger. Because we need to get our voice out there. But I'll let it on after the live stream when I'm nearly done. And it's 12:11 in the morning now. If you guys look right up here toward the top, it's 12:11 in the morning, what to say. So, yeah. Even at 12:11 or 12:12 p.m. in the afternoon in the Philippines in Manila. So, yeah.
After seeing my friends graduated with their college degrees, also with honors and special awards, I began to think deeply of one day I wanted to be like them. Being uncomfortable, however, got paid off out of their uncomfortable situation that was worth the effort, hard work, patience, and even the courage to take those challenges that are risk-taking. However, the consequences are pain, and at the same time, the reward is more than a college degree. One of these days, I was hoping, I'm not really hoping but literally looking forward to take up a bachelor's degree and would one day be recognized as one of the hardworking and committed students with autism to enter college in a bachelor's level. I have a God-gifted talent that I can be a singer, occasionally, but in reality, I cannot be a singer every day. I cannot also have gigs regularly nor frequently, but I also have to know the practical side that I have in mind since I got my personal wants, are almost about to complete that. That personal want I have was taking up music course in an associate's degree program.
You hear that? We have a train coming. Now that was your train that I started the live stream. The third or fourth one. But the reason why tracks are much more active at night here is because of the railroad work. But yeah, now let's get back to
program. If my singing career falls out, there is this course of choice that I want in mind for such practical reasons, is in diplomacy and governance, in which I've been into since my grade school years due to my passion for cultural exchange and foreign languages, where I invested my free time in those things. However, diplomacy will not be only applicable for government-related stuff but also for my singing career too. And this will also help other people with autism who are afraid of speaking for themselves. And also to use this for my advocacy on autism awareness. Those are my main purpose of why taking up diplomacy.
My fiance have not gotten me to autism accepted because of stuff that they crammed in. First time she heard autism accepted was from me. And she's still getting used to it, but I understand. I'm kind of still getting used to it myself. It's kind of ironic, but it takes some time. I might be getting it right there. Something, but yeah.
Diplomacy. I would one day dream of mentioning my name with my diploma and wearing my toga with my diplomatic gestures and expressions to this big stage full of deans and royal family members, and along with that is wearing a gold medal of cum laude and was crowned Miss Unlimited with a crown and sash for being limitless in life. And hopefully after music course, I want to study again and would really want to pursue a bachelor's degree in diplomacy for practical reasons. And would one day continue to be financially supported for my studies too. Because education is a necessity and it is a right for all of us.
That's
Learning
right.
my lesson in life when it comes to education. I would rather become diplomatic than being a diva. P.S. Forgive me for being too advanced. If you found me dreaming too high. Well, we have the right to dream big.
That's right.
Autism awareness. Pentecost Sunday thoughts. Autism love. Autism living. Autism life. Autism balus. Autism advocate. Autism. A-OK. Belbaria.
And that from my lovely fiance Val. Well, I might need to add the hashtag Valbaria later on. But it's amazing. But that's my lovely fiance Valbaria for you. But I support her with all I believe in. Now, so you know I'm saving the money up for the big move to California. And if you love somebody, you don't bug them for money or use them for advantage. I never use Rebel for money. She never uses me for money. With we get that with most couples, but not with me and Val. We understand each other, but yeah, and we talked about and how we feel. It's good, but yeah. But it actually is amazing. Well, let me. I got 152 subscribers. I might have got the other one today. My fiance BFF Joshua YouTube channel. It's crazy. Didn't my fiance BFF Joshua YouTube channel with all yellow everything? A week ago he had over 10,000 subscribers. And look now. He have over 14,829. Followed by in a week he might get over 20,000. And it exploding. Like, not the people who are most popular. Joshua is one of the most popular people in that me and Val know. Or technically, not quite, because me and Val, we do know people who have more subscribers. And we do have connection, but yeah. But I believe in my fiance, and I will always support her. Because she is an amazing person, but yeah. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Oh boy. I think I might have to reboot my tablet because I managed to glitch it again. Or wait, never mind. I don't know how I managed to do this without knowing it, but it's something I end up doing on a date a few times, but You gotta be careful. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video or the live stream, and I hope you guys are having a great, I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I hope you guys are having great, and I hope you guys are being motivated and moving your voice, and I hope you guys keep on supporting other people too, and I hope you guys never give up and keep on fighting and keep on with the sorry about that, guys, but with the message. Excuse me. I hope you guys keep on doing that, and I hope you guys keep on supporting each other and everybody. And I hope you guys keep your voice moving, never give up, never be silent, and I hope you guys keep it up. I really do. And I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I really do, and I hope you guys have a great week ahead and a great summer too. And I will talk to you guys later. Signing out. Bye, guys.